So what's up, YouTube people? So today's project is gonna be installing a new pole for my Garmin Panoptix Livescope. So if you look here, what I actually installed was a new Minn Kota Ultra. With this setup here, it has the spot lock and it's fully electrical. I mean, there's no cable assist or anything like the Ultrex. The cable drive with the electronic assist. This is solid electronic steering. And so, but this shaft here spins around, and with the cable with the for the transducer right here. So with this cable here, we'll end up getting snapped if I try to mount it over back on the body of the trolling motor. So, all right, so let me show you what I got. I went to Lowe's and ended up getting some 3/4 inch conduit for electrical. This is what is this? I think this is schedule 40. Yeah, I believe this was schedule 40 when I saw it on there. So they had these sticks already cut, and I think they were like $2 a piece or something like that. So I got these pieces, and the idea is to actually, with the trackers, they have this VersaTrack system in a gunnel right here. And so I actually come up with some 1/4 inch 20 bolts and a mount. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually put a mount here and then have it drop off the side here. And basically this is kind of gonna sit here into the water. And I'm gonna be able to turn it independently versus having it over on the trolling motor. So I just got to see if I got enough slack. So basically it's going to kind of mount like this. I actually bought the new Garmin mount for the Perspective mode, so I can actually swap it to Perspective. So this is kind of going to sit in the water like this, and I'll be able to turn it, you know, independently from the trolling motor. So let me see what else I got. Let's see here. This is the idea that I actually come up with for actually storing it, is to actually get some more of those 1/4 inch 20 bolts that'll fit in this track system. And I'll do is I'm going to drill a hole here, install one of those bolts, and actually mount it, say one right here, you know, and then one down here. And that way this will be a kind of a permanent system that I can take on and off, I guess you want to call it. But then it'll come out, I can remove it, and then while I'm running down the water I just put it in. And then this is actually it's a cable wrap. This is what's used for, I guess, holding up extension cords or something if you want to keep them together nice and neat. But I was just trying to come up with some ideas to actually, I didn't even think about that. I didn't know that I was already pre-drilled with a hole. So I might be able to do it that way to make it a little bit more cleaner. So I just not realized that before. Because I know it's going to be sticking up out a little bit, but that's going to be a little cleaner than, say, that. Looks like I got a little bit more meat here anyway. I can put it right there, and that sets a little bit more flush. And then I just hit the button, pull it off, and then when I get ready to roll down the water, put it in there. I ain't got to worry about it bouncing out. And that's the problem with this system is, you know, you can spend $250 and And that's the reason why I'm making them one, is because I'm a tight wad, and I didn't want to spend no money, because the average going rate of an independent transducer pole is about 200 to 250 bucks from what I saw, made out of, you know, aluminum, or yeah, most of them made out of aluminum, but and they're designed to be taken off with a round mount. Some of them, you know, mount right here on the side, and you can take on and off and just set it in your boat. Tools, I know I've got to drill out the bracket, so I know I have a drill. I got my saw that I want to use to cut the PVC. I got some drill bits because I know I have to widen a couple holes. I remember seeing it had some sockets, and this sucker right here, I know I could have done it the easy way with a socket, but I tell you what, this is another product, this Milwaukee Fuel. It's 12 volt 3/8 drive. But anyway, but yeah, I got to use it last night putting together a dog kennel, and I'll tell you what, I like it. It's really nice. But I do have my old trusty socket set that I need if I need them back up. Those are the clamps that I'm going to try to use, and so I've got two different options that I saw. So this is going to be a handle. Once I make my cuts, this is actually going to go on top. I've got I bought 1.25" pipe clamps, and I bought this 1.5" pipe clamp. As far as mount wise, and see, I didn't have my boat, and this is what I was afraid of, and I wasn't going to have enough space here, but that I could set that flush, drill the holes here, mount it. But this actually looks like that might actually work, and it'll give me enough that I could bolt the U-bolt up here and not interfere with hitting my rub rail or anything. So this is designed to be, I guess, bolted down to a concrete slab or something, and then a 4x4 will sit in, and then they can secure the 4x4. I'm just trying to use what I could and what anybody else could do if they're got in a bind or if they didn't want to spend much money. And so anyway, so I know these holes here are not big enough. I knew I was gonna have to drill these out if I use this bracket. So but I'm gonna put the bolts in here, mount it to here, mount this to here around this piece of white PVC pipe, and that's going to be bolted kind of like here, and then this pipe is going to drop into here, and this I've got a 3/4 inch collar, but I guess not. So this collar actually sits here, and I just got a couple of male to female threaded fittings. I think this is 1.25 inch, and then this one also is 1.25 to 1 inch. So the 1.25 inch OD into 1.25 inch ID threaded fittings, and then this, the 3/4 inch collar, actually sits flush right inside here, just like that. I mean, it sits perfect on the top of these threads right here. The handle is going to be right here. So just imagine this is the top of the handle, so it's going to kind of sit like this on top. And then I'll be able to rotate it just like that. I do have wing nuts to mount this, so every time that I get ready to go, I'll have to disassemble this and store it on the boat, which is going to be kind of a pain in the butt. I'm gonna tell you what, when you're trying to piece something together, this is how many times I went back and forth. Those are the 1/4 inch by 20 carriage bolts, and the square surface here will actually fit inside. Let's actually see what size drill bit. So first we need to get it mounted, the bracket. If I ain't got it mounted, then we ain't doing no work. All right, so it's got to go up here. So I don't know if you can see it right here. You have a channel that opens up and allows you to put these bolts in, and they'll slide up and down wherever you want them set. And I do have lights on the deck, so that's going to kind of limit me on going farther down, but that's okay. We'll work around it. We'll work around it. All right, so now usually all I do is I just eyeball it. I'll find one about the same size. That might be the one that I need that's already on there. Just lay the bolt right up there on top of the bit, and I like to get it just a smidge bigger. Not too much. That's about the same size. So maybe that's a hair bigger. And now look, if I mount this right here, so I could use these two holes that's already in there. Man, that's gonna work out just perfect. I ain't gonna have to re-drill no holes. So let's go ahead and get started. A little warm. Now, let's see. Ah, look at that. Look at that. Let me get some of that aluminum off there. Aluminum galvanized. All right. So let's slide these two up in here. Alright, so if it's gonna be, I wonder if I can do it like that. Alright. Trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Maybe they got a little too long. Gotta be smarter than the equipment you're working with. Easy hand. Gotta be easy. Work with me just a little bit. That is gonna be a pain in the rear. I'm gonna tear up my vinyl. I better stop all that now. Yeah. So it's on down here at the bottom. But I guess the way that the deck runs is the closer it gets up here to this access point where you put the bolts in. That's all right. Rob 2 bolts for something else. Check that out. Now, put one in there. Put the other one in there. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Fits like a glove. So, there's the zinc coated ones. So I can get this bad boy on and off really easy. And make sure I'm far enough back that, or far enough forward that I'm not gonna have a problem with my cord. So, that sucker's on there. Homemade VersaTrack mount, right there. Get it at Lowe's. I think this was $4, and the hardware run between 9 cents up to, I don't know, 13, 15 cents a piece for the hardware. But it's all 1/4 inch by 20. Well, this is something else. Now this was the 1.25 inch. No, I want to go with that 1.5 inch one. All right. So, get the trusty cutter. Now the object of this, like I said, was to mount this in here. Now that is a little bit bigger than what I anticipated. Now folks, a lot of this stuff I couldn't figure out. This was just me putting stuff up and saying, yeah, this looks pretty good, I'll try it. And then I never came out here and pre-mocked it up so it looked good for YouTube. But so we're both learning as we go. And with my being a new channel, and I don't have any subscribers yet, so that's not like I can go live and have y'all help me out. But if you get a lot of information out of it, or you like it, or just want to help out the channel, then give me a like and a subscribe, and so we can put out some more of this information out, and a lot of other fun stuff. You know what, I wish I was a fabricator and just come up with this stuff. It sure would make life a lot simpler. I thought I had a pretty good idea, and just to work with the stuff that I had. That could work. Bolt that sucker down. The problem is I don't have enough as we say in the South, we don't have enough meatses. I have to drill me 2 new holes, or I could just slide it forward. And if I did slide it forward, drill 2 holes in it like that. That way it kind of pushes it forward a little bit, give me a little bit extra room for the cord. That would actually work, with drilling in that. You know what? You know, I brought this outside. Didn't think I was gonna need it, but I never bought one before. It's an automatic center punch. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be perfect. In there. I'll square that up. Make me a little mark here, and I'll make me a little mark here. Get there. Make me a center punch there. Well, I can drill that bad boy out. Shoot, look at there. I think that's gonna work. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at there. A couple of these flat washers. Yeah. Yeah. A couple of these nuts. You know what, folks? I think we're gonna be in business. I think we're gonna be in business. Ha. Oh, look how I made a mess out of my box. What size we got, y'all? Here we go. Check this out. Oh snap! I done wallered out. That lock. Ooh. Ooh. Mercy. Man. I didn't know it had that much torque. Look at there. I don't know if y'all can see that. Boy, it stripped that to yeah. It said it would put about 55 foot-pounds of torque. But Jesus. Man, I got to be easy. I'm not gonna attempt to reuse that. So I'm gonna put a new one on there. I got to be extra extra gentle. Can't just gouge on it. There we go. That's good enough. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use these bolts here, and now these are probably short enough where I may not have to drill that out, but let's see. Oh, you know what? I should have waited. I should have put that in there because I didn't think it was going to be that. I got to take a dip. Yeah, it's a nasty habit. All right. Now I can work. Now I can work. All right, so I may just be able to just ease off on these. That one up too. And you know what? I'd lose my head if it wasn't screwed on. There they are. You know, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. I may not be the smartest tool in the shed. They say you can get it done, I can get it done. Might take me a little bit longer, but I think that'll work. So let's see. Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna go with that one because I like that solid look better. I like that female OD. You know what? How did that? Where'd that clean one go? This is the 1.5 inches. See, I did all that bending on there. I wonder if that's cleaner. Nah, I still have to bend that one. So that's all right. It don't look all whoppy jawed. All right, so I do have this one on. Oh, let me tighten these back up. Tell you what, you gotta be careful. Man, that sucker there, it'll let you know if you bought cheap bolts. I mean, these ain't no grade A bolts. What are these? I ain't even got no marks on them. Yeah, I'll tell you a whole lot there. They ain't no grade 8, but I tell you, that's pretty stout. All right, so let's get this one on here a little bit. I don't know if y'all can see that. I tell you, that's solid. Now let's get our pole. So now that you kind of got an idea of what it's going to look like, so this, like I said, is going to go down. Now it's not cut the length, but I want this pole to set about a foot under the water. And I know my boat's not clean, but if you look, you can see the water line. I wanted to get it about a foot below that, you know, and I don't even have a tape measure on me. Let's walk over here. See my old 12 valve that needs a paint job. Oh, here we go. I know I had a tape measure in here. All right. So about a foot below the water line, from here to the ground to there is about 27 inches. 27 minus 12 is 15. So 15 inches from the ground. Right here. So it'll be about, I like to use reference points. Come on now, work with me. As a matter of fact, that's about 15 inches right there. So I can eyeball it when I get ready to cut it, as long as I can get it to the top of that boat trailer. I think that's gonna work. In here like this, I could manipulate it and shoot it back and forth. If I pull this pole back, I can get an image up. If I push it forward, I can shoot, you know, further down to give me a you know, a different field of view versus a straight out like this. Because granted, this is going to sit you know, a foot under the water, so most of your projections is going to be out, and you won't be able to shoot much of the bottom, you know, with it, you know, horizontal like this. But if I push the pole forward, it's going to tilt this down, and I might be able to shoot more of the ground with it and see, or if I pick it up, you know, vice versa. You know, this PVC, this conduit right here is cheap. If I don't like how it works, I'll change it out. I'm going to use this pipe here to get me kind of a rough idea of where I need to cut. And then right there where my thumb is. Cut this. Deburr it a little bit. Alright, so let me get this collar. Now, this weird thing about this collar though, it'll fit inside on top of these threads one way, but it just sits, it doesn't fit down the other way, but it still slips on. Now, if anybody that's an electrician can tell me why that is, I'd sure like to know, but it will sit inside those threads that way, but not that way. So I'm gonna make sure that I have that end facing down. Yeah, don't drop it again. All right, so do it a little bit tighter. Let's ease it down. Now that, a little pole, level. Hey, that's close enough for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that on. But this one is just the old standard purple rain or shine. Needs a little persuasion. Now, yeah, and that's the problem with this stuff here, is if you don't put it back on tight, this stuff will evaporate out. So, and you know, I was fixing to mess up here. I really didn't want to get this stuff all over my boat because it's hard to get off. So I'm gonna lay this on the ground. Put a little bit of this primer. Set that over there and make sure I got the right. Yep. A little bit of primer in there. And put a little bit of this glue. And it don't take much. That's probably a little too much for what I need, but so that's gonna sit down in there. That's gonna sit down in there. So I like to sit. And with that set back, now, do I want it high or do I want it down here? And you know what? I'm gonna cut it down here. It means I can turn it if I sit here. I could turn it like this. Alright, so this will go here. This will go here. Alright, so I think this is the setup I'm going with right here. Alright, so now I've got that. I'm just going to glue the rest of these on. Alright, now got it all glued up. But I think that's going to work. So I think this is going to wrap up for tonight. I'm going to pick up everything and then probably get back sometime tomorrow. Alright, so now what we got here is the Garmin Perspective mount for the Livescope system. And in the box we have the rubber pad, the hardware, washers. Here we should have, yep, that's what I was looking for. So this is the sticker that actually mounts on top of this transducer. I have to remove this old mount, but it mounts here. There's a temperature sensor, and this fits. This must be the new version, because the other one I saw on a video actually had a little notch, but so it mounts, you know, kind of like this. Make sure none of this stuff flies off. It's got two arms. Let's take a look at the book. Just compare both of them. In the package it looks kind of the same. Okay. I think I know what it is. One for port and one, yep, one for port and one for starboard. Alright, so you got a port and a starboard side. Now, easy way to remember that. Now I do have LED nav lights on the front, but red's on your right, green's on your left. And imagine if you're standing in the front of the boat looking towards the motor, port is always going to be on your right side. Starboard, this is your bow, and that's your stern. So that's usually the way I remember, because I worked offshore, and so if you're standing at the bow of the vessel looking towards the back, port's always on your right. So same thing with your nav lights. You have, you know, red and green, and we have a black cat, so he's coming to give me a hand. Yep. So I actually had I'm trying to remember which side I had my mount, because my prop on my trolling motor faced the outside, and there's a bug. So my prop faced the outside and my mount sat on the left side. So I think I had it facing the port side, But on this mount here, because it is an independent from your trolling motor, I think I'm just going to rig it up. Ooh, boy, this sun is hot today. I'm just going to rig it up, whichever is going to be the easiest for me to control. Alright, and I forgot to rub an alcohol, so I'll be back. Alright, so I do have some rubbing alcohol. I didn't even open it. Alright, so this is actually going to come with 4 hex cap type screws. It's going to screw the bracket to the pole, and you're going to have 2 of these hex type with an upset on it that you're going to put the washer, and then you're going to put the rubber washer on it. Now the rubber washer is going to fit in. It's going to fit in like this, and when you screw it down, that's going to allow it to be tightened, but not so much that you can't move it. So you're going to have the little adjustments on the little teeth here. You'll have the adjustments, and but yet it'll still be tight enough where it won't freely move on its own. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and mount this part here. Now what I decided to do is just go perpendicular with the handle as far as the general facing of the bracket, and then I can decide to do, actually I've got that flipped around. I think that's supposed to go around the pole. Yep, that's supposed to go around the pole. Yeah, look at these screws. So now I'll look at my pole. Take it and snug her on down. I could have went with a 1-inch pole, but it said it's good for 3/4 inch on the mount. Well, that's what size I went, was 3/4 inch PVC. So let's hope I got enough slack, which I believe I do. And so with it turned like this, you'll have the down and forward view, and then you'll rotate this way and turn it like this for perspective mode. Alright, so I went ahead and put the sticker on. It's pretty much just peel and stick. So right there, see, it's lined up for forward view. So if I actually put it on here, and this single bar lines up with here, forward view, that's pretty much accurate. So I turn it to perspective mode, and then when I turn it, it lines up with these. It'll give me the forward view. Get this. Yep. And then I'll rotate it down, line up these 2 marks with that. Then I'll grab here, turn it to perspective mode, and then boom. You'll be able to see. I got it pretty tight, but you always want to put it down in the lowest mode, because you know that you're going to be rotating it back up and rotating it back down. So you'll have this slack here, and then you rotate it back down, perspective mode. And so I never let go of this, so it should have plenty of slack here. A little bit of this electrical tape. So I'll mark that spot pretty. Now, I should have enough that I can rotate it around. Yep, and I do. Perspective mode mount completed. It is hot. So, yeah, I think that's going to work pretty good. We'll get it out on the water and test it out. And now the issue, also here's something else too, guys. So with I had these lights put on here. I've got one here and then one over there. And you see the hole right there. I've got one right here where you actually put the bolt in and slide. So with those little cable mounts, those little cable ties that I had showed y'all, I realized that I won't be able to slide them back here because of my lights. I'm gonna see if I space them out, put one up here somewhere and then one right next to the light, if that's gonna leave me enough room where I can set this down on the deck, strap it, and then be good. Matter of fact, let's do that right now. I wonder how easy this is going to be. I should be able to do that. I should be able to work. Like I said, this is going to ride. Now I can leave my bolts here, put my wing nut and washer back on so I don't lose those. Get those. Alright, so I can keep these there. Now let me go back to my little handy dandy bucket. And I have these clamped closest. Get this clamp closest to the light. Looking out. So yeah, one thing I did forget to mention, Garmin does include this little hex key, and I did bring mine just in case, because I did not know that they included it at the time. But I would suggest put that in your one of your tackle boxes, one of your tackle bags, because you know, over time these may back out a little bit and get loose on you, and so that'll, instead of you digging in your own personal stash, you can have this one, the one that was already provided by Garmin.